And now,
Hire Away with Collins Harlan.
Welcome to Hire Away. Hire Away is a show where we talk about jobs, we talk about business. More importantly, we talk to the people that are operating those businesses and doing those jobs. These are people with skin in the game. My name is Collins. I'm a staffing specialist with Labor Finders. And in St. Louis, we have two branches. We have one in North County, and then we have one in South County. That's my branch. But basically, we have branches all over the country. So if you're looking for people, all you have to do is go to laborfinders.com. That's laborfinders.com. Find the branch nearest you, call them up, and they're going to help you out. Okay, so on today's show, we have Hannah Fraser. Hannah Fraser is I'm going to read this because it's a lengthy title. Hannah Fraser is the Community Engagement Specialist at the Missouri Department of Social Services in the Office of Workforce and Community Initiatives. And she has access to a demographic of workers that are on their way up. They're on an upward trajectory. They have desire. They look at a job more as an opportunity than a job. And they've been really effective. I can tell you that I've placed many of these people, and most of them go on to be hired by the companies we place them at, and they make a big difference. So without further ado, let's talk to Hannah.
Hire Away!
Okay, we're here with Hannah.
Hi.
Hi, Hannah. And I'm going to read this because your title is quite extensive.
It is.
And so I don't want to get it wrong.
All right.
You are the Community Engagement Specialist at the Missouri Department of Social Services in the Office of Workforce and Community Initiatives. Am I right?
That is correct. Yes.
Fantastic. I probably should have just let you say it.
That would have worked too, but yeah, I covered the city of St. Louis, and we've got other community engagement specialists across the whole state.
The whole state.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's good to know. Mm-hmm. So, companies, I'm with Labor Finders.
Right.
And I'm a personnel provider. So a lot of companies I deal with, they're looking for really serious workers, people that can have good attendance and show up on time, stay until the job's done, and will take this job as more of an opportunity than just a job, you know. And you, in your organization, you've tapped into a kind of an untapped supply of those types of people, and we're going to get to that. But first, I'd like to talk a little bit more about you.
Okay.
Kind of get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So why did you choose social work? How did this whole thing happen? Tell us about your arc.
Yeah. So I always knew that I wanted to do something to help people. And when I went to college at Western Carolina University, go Cats, I actually started out with a major in psychology because I thought that would be a good way to help people doing therapy or something like that. I ended up taking a class in sociology and learned a little bit more about some of the systemic issues that face a lot of people. And I thought maybe if I focus on systems, I could have a greater impact. So I ended up getting a bachelor's in psychology. And then I actually graduated during COVID. So didn't know what was going to happen with the world, didn't know what was going to happen with my career. And one of my mentors, Dr. Lane Perry, encouraged me to apply for AmeriCorps, which I describe as a domestic version of Peace Corps. So we go into communities in need and do kind of a community needs assessment. And then the VISTA program that I was a part of helps build capacity for organizations that are already doing work to kind of address the community needs.
So those are two separate things. AmeriCorps and VISTA is a different...
It's a program of AmeriCorps.
Oh, it's attached. Okay, gotcha.
Yep, AmeriCorps VISTA. So, so I did food security work for the first year that I was in an AmeriCorps VISTA. And then the second year, I was able to actually be the VISTA leader for the program and basically just provided peer support for the other 13 VISTAs across the state that were doing food security work across the state. 13
across the whole state?
Across the state of North Carolina, yeah.
So that's a pretty important position. You're probably pretty busy.
Yeah, there were different AmeriCorps programs. So the organization that sponsored the program that I was a part of only had 13 VISTAs.
Wow. Okay. So keep going. How did you?
Yeah. So after doing AmeriCorps, I decided, I didn't get a graduation from my undergrad, so I should go back to school and get a master's degree. And I was doing food security work, like I mentioned, so public health came to mind as something that I could pursue. And then, again, these kind of system-level changes that I was interested in made me interested in social policy. So there's a dual program at WashU at the Brown School for public health and social policy. So I applied, got admitted to both programs. I ended up actually going to orientation and learning about what social work was. I thought social work was just foster care and child protective services, but social work is so much bigger. It encompasses so much and really kind of gives a bird's eye view of different systems in society. And so I ended up switching to social work, but my flex is that I got into all 3 programs at the Brown School.
Very nice.
So I ended up getting my master's in social work, and I did a lot of housing work while I was in school. I worked with the homeless services sector here in the city of St. Louis.
That's interesting because that almost kind of bleeds into what you're doing now.
It's all kind of connected, right? So my overarching goal in life is to address issues of poverty. So I started kind of doing food security work, then went into housing and homelessness, and now I'm doing employment services. And all of these things kind of get to that root cause of people having what they need.
Yeah. So that's quite I mean, you're a young person.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty long journey. You've done a lot.
Thanks.
So, and you even, I think when we were talking yesterday, I think you were awarded, you won an award?
Oh, yeah. So the organization that was sponsoring the AmeriCorps Vista program, North Carolina Campus Engagement, I had interacted with them a lot during my undergraduate career, just doing voter engagement. I was a big voter engagement, the chick with the clipboard on campus asking you if you're registered to vote. So I was recognized at one of their conferences and awarded a Community Impact Award for the work that I did in my undergraduate career.
Fantastic. And it kind of solidifies, when you get an award like that, I bet it kind of makes you feel like, I'm in the right place. I'm effective. Yeah.
It was great. And again, to bring up Dr. Lane Perry, he was really a great mentor throughout my whole undergraduate career. And he kind of, laid the path out for me to work on all those things.
Well, you'll have to make sure he sees this.
I will, yeah.
You've come full circle.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, tell us about what you have to offer then in your current role to a company who is struggling to hire good people. What are you offering?
Yeah. So we're really interested in connecting employers to their community's untapped workforce.
Okay.
And a lot of times that means candidates who may have barriers to employment. So people who are low income, people who may have undereducated people, people who are looking to grow their skills. And we partner with employment service providers who provide those programs to get people skilled up and ready for employment. And so one of the groups that, again, is across the state, but we have kind of a chapter here in St. Louis, is called the Nexus Group.
Okay.
And the Gateway Nexus is the one here in St. Louis, and it brings together employers and employment service providers and resource providers and gives them the opportunity to collaborate. So employers come on and say, I've got these openings, I need candidates with these skill sets, and then the employment providers can say, I have a participant who would be a great fit, let's connect offline, and it kind of makes that process easier.
So they kind of grease the wheels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. They're the facilitators, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now, so these people that you're helping, let's talk about why you think that they're a good fit. I mean, I have my own opinions, but why are the people that you're helping, this untapped group, why do you feel that they would be a good fit for some of these companies?
Yeah, so these are people who are voluntarily going out of their way to go through employment and training programming, right?
Gotcha.
They are seeking out services to say, I need help with my resume, or I need interview prep. I need to gain some skills. I want to get a certification in X, Y, or Z.
So they're showing a desire to improve their lives.
Absolutely, yeah. And the population that we really target is people who are receiving our benefits, so DSS state benefits like SNAP or food stamps and Medicaid.
Gotcha. And
so we actually also have an email distribution that goes out to everyone across the state who receives our benefits, and we market events like job fairs, resource fairs, free community events, free employment and training programming. And so those folks who are receiving those benefits get that in their inbox and can go to those job fairs and can get those opportunities.
So you really get behind these folks and you keep them connected. They're on their way up. They're on an upward trajectory. But I'd imagine that that could change at any moment if they didn't have support.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're learning, as they, like you said, they didn't have the opportunity for whatever reason. It could even be reasons of their own, but I would assume that that's not the case. I mean, they probably didn't have the training when they were young, or the encouragement to go in these directions. So not only do you help them find jobs, but you help them keep that upward momentum with your wraparound services.
Yeah. We the goal is to get people off of our benefits, right?
Right.
We have them there and provide that support when they need it. But the goal is self-sufficiency for people across Missouri.
It's very similar to what I do. You know, we have a personnel service, and people think of us as a temporary provider, but what we aim to do is get people off of that temporary cycle. You know, we want to get them a job, enter as a temp, but then get hired on. So, we have a lot in common.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good,
yeah. So. There's a program that comes out of the Office of Workforce and Community Initiatives, OWCI is our acronym. It's called the Skill Up Program, and it's really designed to get people into high demand career fields.
Also, like, not just entry level, but more higher skilled positions.
Yeah,
okay.
So it can actually pay for, so it's through the state, it pays for up to $10,000 per participant. Anyone who's receiving SNAP benefits can participate in this program. They have to get enrolled into the program. And as a community engagement specialist, I don't do the enrollment. We actually contract out with providers to get folks enrolled into this program, and then they get those skills and that training. The state pays for it.
That's fantastic.
It's wonderful.
Is that now? You say the state pays for it. Is Missouri particularly? What would the word be? Are they kind of focused on these types of programs as opposed to other states, or is there something going on in Missouri that originated that funding, like the desire to fund that program? Yeah,
that's a good question. I have not really looked into other states as much, but I know that Missouri is really kind of, they're leading away in a lot of ways, and one of the ways is the reentry conversation that we can talk about in a few minutes.
Oh, sure, yeah. So Missouri does have an appetite. The timing is really good.
Great timing,
Gotcha.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's circle back on that, but so you offer these people support, you help them stay on an upward trajectory, you help them get connected with jobs, you help employers, because that's kind of the focus of this podcast. We want as many companies out there as possible to know about what you're offering and how to reach out to you.
Yeah.
How does somebody reach out to you, by the way?
I would love to connect on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I can also get people connected to that Nexus group.
Okay, there we go.
That's how we can really get employers into this conversation and get them connected with the providers who are getting folks ready for employment.
Okay. So the next thing that comes to mind, because, I mentioned we have a lot in common with, our mission. We're trying to get people jobs. We're trying to make them successful, put them in a position where they can be successful, and then see that transformation. I know from talking to a lot of clients that I deal with, companies that are hiring.
Sure.
Sometimes they kind of have an aversion to the whole idea of second chance. It's not that they don't want to think about it. It's just there seems to be like a stigma in their head. Yeah. Do you have any, do you get any pushback, and do you have any success stories that you can share to kind of melt that stigma a little bit for people? And
Yeah. So I definitely have success stories, specifically for the Skill Up program, which I can tell you about. And the second chance thing is really important too. And we're actually going to be having an event all about second chances for people coming up on May 20th.
May 20th. Where's that going to be?
It's going to be at UMSL in the Student Center there.
Oh, that's a nice place to have it.
Yeah.
May 20th. That's right around the corner.
It is.
So we want to get some information up about that. We'll have our producer put up your flyer.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, but going back to, because I'm imagining, like, let's say there's an employer watching this, and they're having, some thoughts about, well, that's interesting, but I've never really, I don't know that we would really want to hire people that have, don't have skill, or maybe they've not, maybe they have a background problem, or something like that.
For sure.
What would you say to those people? Like, how do you, for lack of a better term, how do you sell the concept to an employer that's, you've got their attention, but they're not ready to take that leap?
Well, what I hear from employers who do take that leap is that these candidates are some of the most dedicated, hardworking, loyal employees that they have. When they're given that second chance, they really want to prove that they deserved it, right?
Yeah.
And they give all they can to their employer because they're so grateful. Because a lot of these people are getting rejected a lot.
Yeah.
They're going, they're putting themselves out there, and they're coming back with a no after no after no.
Yeah.
So it's really something special. And it shouldn't be that special, right? Like, hopefully it's not that special that people can get employment, but for them, it provides that sense of hope that they can contribute to the community. They can provide for their families. They can get some structure into their lives. And so it's really just a meaningful experience, and it's something that everybody can learn from. Of course, the employees are learning, but the employers too. They learn about what those folks have gone through, and it's just a really meaningful experience.
You know, just listening to you talk about that, it made me think, if the employers are learning about these people's struggles and journey, and they have empathy for that, that probably is half the battle on telling them or convincing them to give it a shot. Well,
and here's an interesting statistic.
Okay.
1 in 3 people in the United States have something on their record.
I didn't know that.
So that's a pretty significant amount, right?
Yeah.
You know, any arrest, any conviction, any time served. And there's about 11,000 to 18,000 people in Missouri per year who are exiting incarceration, so coming back into the community. And that's a significant amount of people that need to get a job. They need to get housing. They need to provide for their families. And so we have these pockets of labor shortages, and we have this candidate pool of people who are going through the training. They're really interested in getting back into the community, and you know, they want to make money and they want to provide for their families. So it's kind of a great kind of match, right? You have positions you need to fill, and these people are looking for jobs, and they're dedicated, they're excited.
And it's almost you know, when I talk to clients, it's like the bar isn't really high these days. They're just looking for people that'll show up on time, have a good attitude, want to do well, and then go home. So, I mean, sadly, that's kind of where the bar's set. And I don't know what the problem is, but it seems like we've gone through a few generations of, of people that they seem more entitled to the employers these days, where, you know, we'll send just the normal, you know, young man that's the mom is trying to kick off the couch because he's playing video games. His heart's not in it, you know. And I'm not trying to blame that person, but I'm trying to juxtapose that against what you just said. The people that are in these second chance programs, and it's been my experience too, like I said, they're on an upward trajectory for a reason. They have a desire to improve their lot in life. You know, they weren't taught how to do it, you know, but they have a desire, and that's what's feeding their behavior. You know, and like you said, these are great workers. They're really happy to have these opportunities, and that's a key word, opportunity. You know, it's not a job to them; it's an opportunity. You know,
it's life-changing.
Yeah, and so I've got success stories too with this population, and you know, I could speak for hours on this, but it's your show. Any success stories that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear them.
Yeah. So,
with the Skill Up program?
Yeah. So the Skill Up program, so again, pays for folks to go through training and employment programming. So Amethyst Pittman, she already had her CNA, but she went through a certified medical technician training program. She needed things like nursing shoes. She needed help with transportation costs to get to and from her classes, and Skill Up can provide support for those supplemental funds as well. She now works in a nursing home. She's making almost $4 more than she was making in her previous role per hour. So she got, more income. She's getting health insurance now. She gets PTO. So not only did she gain more skills, she's making more money, but she's getting benefits too.
It's life changing.
It really is.
Yeah, and I bet you have you talked to her?
I have not. No.
But I bet you if you did, I bet you from the time that she came to the program to now, totally different attitude. She's probably glowing and very happy to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she's probably a very valued employee. Sounds like she is.
Yeah. There's another one, Kaylee Woods. She's a single mom. She enrolled into an esthetician program.
Okay.
And now she started her own business.
What?
Yes.
That's
she
awesome.
has she does facials, waxes, lash extensions, massages, all of that stuff. And she's one of those people that will say, I love Skill Up.
Yeah.
You got me here, my life has been changed, and she's really doing well for herself.
That's kind of like the epitome of the American dream. Like you come here, like immigrants that come here, they're not immigrants, obviously, but people that come here with nothing in their pockets and work hard. But what you're doing is you're providing them the knowledge, the base, the training, the resources, and then they take it from there. I mean, to go from that to owning your own business, that's amazing.
Isn't that great?
It's really cool. Yeah.
So, we work with the providers, the Skill Up providers, to kind of get them enrolled in the program, and then they can get them through the training. And if anyone's interested in pursuing that, you can find the Skill Up providers on our website.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is shared on Facebook as well, where we communicate with a lot of people that are looking for work, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in this situation that you could help.
Yeah, so if you get SNAP benefits, you can go to mydss.mo.gov.
Producer, please put that up. Ethan, if you would, put that up on the screen. Say that one more time.
mydss.mo.gov, and you can /OWCI.
Okay.
That's our office.
Okay.
And you can put your zip code in, and it'll show you the Skill Up providers near you.
Okay.
And so in St. Louis, Slate is a really big one.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah,
Yep.
St. Louis Agency on Training and Employment. They're downtown. And then there's job centers all over the state where folks can go in and get a plethora of resources, and Skill Up is one of those. But there's all kinds of programs, really, for folks who are interested in gaining employment. And that's the thing, is these are the people who are voluntarily going out of their way to go through the training programs and get the assistance they need to get into a place where they're self-sufficient.
They've got a fire in their belly, so to speak. I mean, I'm old. I'm like 50-something, 58, 65. I don't know. So I say things like they got a fire in their belly. But it's true, though. They have a desire. They have a fire in their belly. And that's what drives their behavior. And from there, they become really good employees. I've had success stories like that. In fact, one of our last podcasts, we had a gentleman that came out of the Salvation Army ARC program.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And that's a different program, but it's the same mission.
Right.
Yeah. It's all aimed at the same thing. And he came out, he started as a temp. Now he's making $5 more an hour. They hired him,
Look at that. Yeah.
And he was on our podcast with his operations manager. And it was
great.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely check that out.
Yeah.
But and it's life changing, But so what I would say to employers that are watching this, you got two people here that have these success stories. This works, and if you're an employer and you're struggling with job boards and people ghosting you or staying for a day and leaving, or just not having a very good attitude, the trick is to find the people that have the good attitudes and they have a desire, a fire in their belly, and your program hooks them up with that. So you talked about, well, I don't want to interrupt you. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
I wanted to say that the other service providers who are involved in the groups like the Nexus Group, they're working one-on-one with these candidates, right? And so let's say you are an employer and you're interested in potentially hiring this person. They work with somebody at Concordance, for example. It's a service provider who serves people who have criminal records.
Okay.
You can contact Concordance and say, hey, your candidate sounds great, but I'm having these issues with them. I don't want to address it, or,
Right.
I don't have time to address it maybe.
Right.
And Concordance will say, we'll get right back to you. I'll go talk to them. So you have that support from the providers too, as an employer, when you work with these providers.
That's actually very impactful because it might just be just a little adjustment that needs to be made.
Yeah.
And you're right. The employer has got 12 different things going on at the time, and it doesn't really feel like it's his place to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. But that one little adjustment could set that guy or gal up on a really good trajectory. So, and make all the difference in the world.
Yes.
So they kind of.
So when they make those partnerships, which I help facilitate, they have that relationship with the provider and the employer to where if there's anything that they need, they can contact them.
So anybody can get a hold of you on LinkedIn, Anna Fraser.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And we'll put something up there too.
Perfect.
But you guys have this event coming up.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about second chances.
Yeah.
So this event is really focused on 2 candidate pools, people with the criminal justice history, and people who are in recovery from substance use or addiction.
Okay.
And sometimes those populations overlap, right? A lot of people get in trouble for possession or manufacturing because they are suffering from addiction themselves.
Sure.
And they end up in the criminal justice system. So it was really inspired by an event that happened in the fall of 2025, led by the Missouri Extension Office, that I was in attendance at. And it was really impactful. We heard a lot from people with lived experience who shared their stories about how their life was changed by employment, by being given that second chance. So there were a few of us from St. Louis in the audience, and we all kind of made eye contact, and we're like, we got to do this in St. Louis. So we had an event in St. Peter's, but if you missed it, it's fine because we have one in St. Louis on May 20th. And we're really going to showcase not only the need to hire from these candidate pools, but the benefits of hiring from these candidate pools.
That's key. Yeah.
Right.
Very much key. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're going to have employers who already do it. And they're going to talk about, this is some of the barriers that we faced with maybe my leadership team. Maybe we had to make some adjustments to our hiring policies. Maybe we had to do some kind of cultural shifts within the organization. But this is how we have been able to open up positions to people who may not have a sparkling clean background.
So you'll have testimonials from other companies that have done it and the process they went through to get there.
Absolutely.
And the payoff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we're going to hear from those service providers like Concordance that I mentioned, and they'll let the audience know this is the extent of the program that these folks go through when they work with us.
That's going to be eye-opening for people because it's not just like a few days here and they're off.
Right. And if you get someone who walks in off the street, they may not have had all of the same training and opportunity that somebody who, again, voluntarily goes through this programming and training, and they're vetted by these agencies, and the agency is going to deliver you a quality candidate. And if they don't, you have that contact to say, hey, I thought you said so-and-so was going to be X, Y, or Z. So it's a really great opportunity for the intended audience is employers who are interested in second chance. Maybe they've heard the term but don't really understand what it means. Maybe they say, I'd love to as a hiring manager, but my organization just doesn't allow for it.
My hands are tied.
It's an automatic disqualification if their background check comes back with a blip on it. So we're going to kind of talk through how other organizations have done it. We're going to hear from those service providers as well. We'll hear from people with lived experience whose lives have been positively impacted by, getting that second chance and that employment opportunity. And it's really just hopefully going to provide a pipeline of employment for folks from these populations to get into jobs that the employers need filled. Well,
you heard it, folks. If you've been thinking about your labor pool and how to improve upon your labor pool, improve upon retention, improve productivity, this is a really important group of people that you need to start thinking about. And if you're unsure, you can attend this event on the 20th, right?
Yep.
And you'll be able to network with other companies that have been in your position and have figured out how to do it. And you can talk to them and if nothing else, make some good contacts. But I think it's a really good idea. I'm coming.
Great.
Yeah. And
you're emceeing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was going to ask you, who's emceeing? It's not me, is it?
It is.
Okay, good. I'll be there, and I'll be introducing folks, and then I'll shut up and sit down so they can talk. That's emceeing. But I just think it's a really, I know it is. I mean, it's proven. I've been doing this for 20 years, and the best employees that we've had have come from this demographic. And if you've been thinking about doing this, now's the time. And so get a hold of Hannah, get a hold of me on LinkedIn. We also had that flyer has a little QRC.
It does, the QR code. Yep,
QR
that's how you
code.
can register.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll have that up for you, and you can just hold your phone up to that and register. And it'll be real simple.
Yep.
Yeah. But if you have troubles with that, just get a hold of her.
Yeah.
Hannah. So she'll help you. She's a facilitator.
I am.
But Hannah, it's been really wonderful having you.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. And we'll have you on again sometime, and I'll see you at the event.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, what a great show. What a great guest. Wasn't she great? She's a firecracker. And more importantly, if you like what you heard and you sign up for that event on the 20th, which I highly recommend that you do if you're employing people, because you're going to find out a lot about how that works and how to get connected with these people that are going to help your company. So what you want to do is you want to stay tuned for the job of the week. That's coming up. And then you want to join us next Wednesday when we have another show for you with another exciting guest. Thanks for watching. Be sure, like, and subscribe. That really helps us out. You made it this far. Why not do that? So we appreciate it. Talk to you next time.
Hire Away with Collins Harlan.